Welcome to Read 666, a new segment on Room 666 where I will be reading classic novels turned classic films to all kinds of great children and just to educate them about film and about reading. And today we're going to read the classic novel, Donald Darko. That's right, kids. It's a good one. Fuck, I lost my place because you didn't shut up. You were talking the whole time. You need to shut the fuck up. Wicked. Sean. No more fucking for her. Ronald. Smurfette doesn't fuck. Sean. Bullshit. Smurfette fucks all the other Smurfs. That's why Papa Smurf made her, because the other Smurfs were getting too horny. Oh, shit. Ronald. Not vanity. He's homo. Oh, there we go. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to skip to the end of this, to the end of the page, and we'll just, we'll go from there. So that's what's so illogical about the Smurfs. What's the point of living if you don't even have a dick? Okay, just again. Welcome to Room 666. Today we're going to be talking about All White Boy Ric, the latest film from Jan Dimanche. It stars Matthew McConaughey, Belle Powley, Richie Merritt, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Let's go talk about this crazy-ass white boy, Jan Dimanche. Was he the right person to tell the story of White Boy Ric? I'll let you know right now. White Boy Ric is played by Richie Merritt, and he's from Detroit. He's a young kid, just this ghetto, just kind of dead-end kid, you know what I mean? His dad is Matthew McConaughey, and he's selling guns. He's a piece of shit. His sister's on drugs. He's surrounded by crime, and basically he starts to kind of move his way up in the drug game. He sort of takes this kind of big leap. It's similar to stuff like Blow and American Made, where you have these kind of white guys stepping into the drug game, taking these kind of big leaps and surviving them, and basically moving their way up there. The one thing I enjoyed about this film is that Jan Dimanche does his best at trying to give this film momentum, trying to give you a reason to follow this character even though you do know what's going to happen. So at the beginning of this film, it's a very just fast-paced, you get introduced to all the characters in this it's very funny, kind of hilarious way, and that's not the thing about this film. It's fucking hilarious. That's one of the best things about it is the comedy. But because of that also, and because of the editing, because of the way it's filmed, there's a lot of these kind of takes of them following the characters around, and you really feel the flow of it. And so you never kind of, even though you know where it's going, you're never just like, oh, well, this is boring. You're having fun with it. A lot of these films, like Blow, for instance, that's sort of similar to this, can kind of do the paint by numbers thing, and they can kind of show you the rise to fame in these sort of just flashy montages that don't really mean anything. They're just trying to show you the money, trying to show you the houses. But here, I really think that Jan tried to use those moments as kind of character moments to give you reasons to care about these characters, give you reasons not to care about certain characters, because his interactions with the characters in those type of scenes that are showing him moving up are done in a way that it's really, they're not done, like I said, to just be there to be flashy. They're done to kind of give these characters moments to sort of breathe and let you know more about them. And so I enjoyed that aspect about it. But once we get to the third act, you sort of know what is going to happen because a lot of the big stuff is already, a big chunk of the stuff has happened already, and so you know where the story's going. The only thing that keeps you going throughout this whole film is the acting. It's an acting showcase. These films usually are. But unfortunately, it doesn't keep your interest towards the end, and I think Jan tried to shove too much of the story in here. There's a lot of things he probably could have cut out and sort of made this sort of more of a straight-through narrative. He tries to kind of put in this theme of family, where Matthew McConaughey, his son, his daughter, he's trying to keep them all together. Even the son is doing something to try to keep them all together. He even has a grandparents that live across the street. And I think he does a good job of keeping that theme together throughout the whole film. A lot of those films will kind of lose it throughout, but this one does a good job of doing that. It's just not, it just doesn't hit it. The end just doesn't come, and it really could have been one of those films that stands out, but unfortunately, it doesn't. Doesn't mean it's not a good film. But Jan, I can't wait to see what you do next. I really enjoyed what you did in 71. This one, not so much a hitter. More Matthew McConaughey's thing, but we'll get to that later. Let's get into White Boy Ricky himself, Richie Merritt. Now, I don't know if this is his first film. It might be. And I don't know if he was someone who's been trying to become an actor, struggling actor, or if he's just someone they found off the street. But to me, he felt like just some kid that they found off the street. And I mean that in the best possible way. Because his character is just this kind of young, just kind of ghetto, just uneducated, just lost, scared, trying to act tough to get by, youth. And that's exactly what he felt like. It felt like all those interactions that he has with Matthew McConaughey, with R.J. Cyler, who plays his friend, who's in a gang, and Bel Powley, who plays his sister. Anytime he's confused by words that they used, or anytime he doesn't understand what they say, or anytime he feels out of place in the world, it always felt authentic. And I think that's because of, you know, the way that the actor Richie Merritt doesn't really act. He sort of doesn't go for big dramatic things. He doesn't sort of go for these, actory type of things, which, as well as Bel Powley and R.J. Cyler are doing, when they're acting up against him, you feel them sort of acting. You don't see him acting. You just kind of see him just kind of being in the moment of the scene as a sort of confused, lost, and lonely kind of child. And I really enjoyed that performance, especially his chemistry with Matthew McConaughey. McConaughey could have outshined him, but he actually does, a pretty fair job in keeping up with him. He goes toe-to-toe with him in a lot of scenes. He doesn't overact in any parts. He doesn't try to outact McConaughey or anything. So I really enjoyed this central performance. It's Richie Merritt who steals the show out of almost everybody, except our next guy. And let's talk about him. All right. The McConaissance may be back. Matthew McConaughey, he's a great actor. We all know this by now. But sometimes he might not choose the best movies to be in. Here, he picked a good project because he picked a media role, and he knows how to do that. Here he makes this just piece of shit, loser, sad sack of a father, just this criminal asshole, just into this lovable, kind of likable loser. And it's because Matthew McConaughey is able to be charming. He's able to be dramatic and emotional when it calls for it, and not in a way that it comes off as just sort of, Oscar baity or stupid or dramatic. He's just all natural, and he's just making it look easy, and he's making it look great. And I think the best part about this film is that he is able to just work off, because it's a comedy through and through. If I had to say, watch this, if you're going into this, watch it as a comedy, and I think you might enjoy it a lot more, if I'm being honest, because it's a very funny film. And you have Matthew McConaughey, and he's interacting with a lot of different characters in this. Jennifer Jason Leigh, Roy Cochran, Bruce Dern. His kids. There's all kinds of people that he's interacting with, and he's always playing the part of this dad who's trying to protect his family, trying to be the guy who, hey, I sell guns, I'm a criminal, you better watch out for me. But nobody's scared of him. Nobody cares about him. There's this great scene where he's been interviewed by the cops, and he tells them, get the fuck out of my house. And the detective just tells him, this acting tough thing doesn't look good on you. And it's really a sad moment, and it's a pathetic moment, because Matthew McConaughey really plays it. You really feel as if, the pit of his stomach is dropping, and he feels embarrassed and just humiliated. And Matthew McConaughey is just one of the best there is. And this is really just a showcase for him. He is fantastic in this role. Unfortunately, the film doesn't really live up to the role itself, but movies like this are usually just showcases for actors anyway. So, Matthew McConaughey, we love you. You're great. You're making this look easy. Can't wait to see what you do next. Hit me up. Blaze it 420. Matthew, I got the good stuff. I know you got it too, baby. Call me. In conclusion, White Boy Ric is a very good film, but it's not something I would say go rush out and see. Unless you watch the trailer, you saw it, you said, hey, I want to watch Matthew McConaughey do his thing. You better go watch this movie, because this one's right up your alley. And if you like kind of true crime stories like Blow, American Made, this is definitely one for you as well. But for me, it was more of a wait till Netflix, iTunes type of film. Had a lot of cool aspects of it, especially the acting, but it didn't exactly hit the mark to kind of make, to kind of stand out in this year that's, kind of had some really good stuff. So, see it if you want to see it. But you don't have to rush out and see it. That's just my opinion. And guys, whatever you do, don't sell drugs unless you're going to sell them on the cheap to me. See you guys next time.